What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Sarlacc Digest, a podcast bringing you line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years, or whenever Ernie decides to drop his podcast and jump on ours. That's what will start this thing.
I'm here.
Yeah, I know, man. That was so
you
close.
are in the nick of time.
that was awesome. This is episode 207 being recorded on April 26, 2023. I'm your host, Darth Moocher. I've got Scott Solo.
What's up, nerds?
And Ernie the Fallen Fett.
Hey guys, what's up?
He never stopped. The man who never stops. I was over there watching the Federation. I'm sitting there going like, I'm in the 2-minute countdown. He's still podcasting. I mean, it's cool because we always made this thing, just hop on, whenever you can, right? And stuff. But I was just like, this guy doesn't stop.
Nope.
Good episode over there too. So before we get into all
We're always good. What are you talking about?
Thanks,
Yeah,
man, I appreciate it.
I know.
Appreciate it so much.
It's
Matt's
a fascinating
very
talk.
Cool dude.
Yeah, it was a great talk, man. So anyway, before we get into all the great Star Wars talk that we have this evening, and there are some, I guess we'll have to figure this out. I'm gonna kick it over to Scott, who's gonna shout out our Patreons, and then of course check in with the pit.
All right. So, hey, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Sarlacc Digest podcast. Without our Patreon members, this sucker wouldn't happen. So, hey, you know what? A special shout out to all you amazing Patreon members. We've got AJ from the Forbidden Panel, Cliff, Brandon and Anya Epler, Dennis McGrath, Don the Dad Dorn, Don and Brady of the Escape Pod podcast on the Red 5 Network. Hey, that's our network. What do you know? Eric Grubb, Fanboy Mike, Flavy Davy, formerly of the Nerds with Attitude podcast, Gavin Connor, currently from the Holy Hour All Cure podcast, Mervine, Nicholas Schaefer, Matt Logic, and Ryan, and the Star Joes. So here we are. It is now your opportunity, everybody. If you are not a Patreon member, but you're a dedicated listener to the show or viewer of the show, scan that code right there. Join the Patreon crew, and then you can get in on some of the exciting things we have planned, because we have things planned, right?
We do.
Yes, we always have things planned. Absolutely. Do we know what those things are yet? No.
We don't.
But we have, but we've got things planned. And you know what? I also wanted to give a special shout out, and I was thinking about this last night. I was thinking to myself, the Sarlacc Digest, it's not just the 5 of us or the 6, however many of us there are in a show. I always consider the pit crew to be a part of the Sarlacc Digest as well, because they're always so involved in the conversations. And it dawned on me, people like Miss Sunflower, I think she said she's in the Philippines, and Julianne Fernie, who's up in Alaska, and you got Gavin Connor, who's on the East Coast. And you've got Mando Mike, who's 5 miles down the road here. Where else on the internet
you have Cliff.
And then you've got Cliff. Who knows where the hell Cliff is? But where else on Facebook do you have this, or YouTube, do you have this kind of interaction, with people who can talk back and forth and join in on these conversations and come up with some really fun conversation pieces? Where else could you do that but right here?
Yeah,
where everybody's actually pretty decent with each other. There are no dicks, and if the dicks show up, we just kick them out. It's all good,
or ignore them, or ignore them in the chat.
That's always fun. You just kind of watch what happens in the chat and go, hey, watch as everybody ignores this person.
Yeah, right.
So all right, as let me go ahead and look at who we've got in the pit right here. We've got Gordon. I run into Gordon at Target all the time, and now he's in there talking with Matt Logic from wherever Matt Logic is.
All right, Gordon.
It is.
No, I'm kidding.
It is.
I would.
Yeah.
That dude is awesome.
Matt Logic, by the way, did get his Wampa, so he will be joining us in the Wampa Stomp today.
Very cool.
We've got Gordon, we've got Matt Logic, we've got Cliff, we've got my father-in-law, the amazing Don the Dad Dorn. We've got Gavin Connor from the. He is pretty amazing.
I'm in the peanut gallery over here.
All right.
Amazing.
Have you seen? When was the last time you saw his Lego collection? It is
Don
pretty
won't let me
fantastic.
in his bedroom anymore.
That's because you refuse to call him amazing. So,
and with that, we should sign
wait a minute.
off.
Hey, did you say his bedroom? What is wrong with?
It's in his bedroom. His Lego collection. I don't know.
It's not. What's wrong with
he
you?
He says he sleeps in it.
We've got Gavin Connor in there. We've got Ubaldo T in there. We got Santo 1414, Crystal E, and Well, I already said Cliff's name. I'm
and
not going
Cliff again. And Cliff again.
Cliff's name again.
He's got too much attention
Cliff
today.
way too much attention. And we don't need
Why
to.
are we mad at Cliff today?
We are not.
He's in the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
He's in Coors country. We don't talk about that.
Yeah. No, I'll extend that sentiment to, like, a lot of these people in the pit too, we've met in person, Matt Logic and Santo. And it's just awesome that we can connect with Star Wars daily.
And I meet Crystal E every time I'm at work, which is every day. Hi, Crystal.
Nice. Very cool. Anyway. Very cool. Well, it's we just got off the whole Mandalorian season 3 kick and everything, right? And it's so funny how, like, it took a week to actually, like, it all hit me this week. Like, I've got so much to catch up on as far as, like, other shows and other interests and some books that I want to be reading and stuff. But, like, Mandalorian took up my whole concentration and time. Like, I talk about this with my son all the time. He's like, you got to watch Attack on Titan. You got to finish it. And when I go, I am, but my head is in Mando right now. I can't do it right now, right? I have to do these things. And so a lot of things are starting to sink in from Celebration, from next week that we're going to go see Return of the Jedi in the movie theaters again. We have our May 4th event. We have Visions season 2. Yeah, I mean, there's like now it's starting to hit me like, okay, we're out of the Mandalorian era and we're going to be getting into the Ahsoka. But before that, oh my God, we got the Flash to go see. We got Indiana Jones to go see. We got, I mean, I said Visions. There's so much that I knew it was there, but it's all hit. It's like, okay, I got, back to reality, grounded again. It's like, wait a second, there's a lot of stuff happening that I was just in such a Mando cloud.
Yeah, well, the Mando cloud, and the Mando ended, and then we're all like, oh, now what? Now what are we going to do? And, I'm...
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don, thanks, Scott. Boo, Darth Moocher. That's fine. I'll be the villain. I am a Darth, so you should be,
But what you were saying, though, as far as the what's coming, all I saw was that Indiana Jones trailer and the Flash trailer that dropped this week. And I'm like, all right, my excitement level is creeping back up again. And then, Return of the Jedi, I get to go see arguably, I want to say probably my second favorite Star Wars movie is Return of the Jedi. Same. Of course, it's the bastardized version that George Lucas did before he sold it. So there's some questionable things that happen.
Plug our ears and close our eyes during the musical number, and then everything else is good, I think.
It's that whole Darth Vader saying no at the end whenever he tosses the Emperor. I'm like,
sure.
Don't.
We'll do it like Rocky Horror. We'll throw popcorn at the screen. We'll boo. I think we'll do that.
Can we bring lightsabers? We haven't brought lightsabers to a show in a long time. Can we bring lightsabers?
I'm gonna bring them. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
are they gonna tell us something?
Yeah, right. We almost bought out half the theater anyway, so it should be us. But we'll see. Ernie, are you going with us, man?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I got his tickets, so we better be joining us.
Yeah,
I got a bunch of toys for him in my trunk.
Didn't we go over this last week?
I thought so, but in chat you were like, is it yet? I thought you were still.
No, I was saying yesterday. No, I was saying yesterday when the whole question, you get home from work and like that, and it's like it popped in my head, and I'm like, Jedi. Oh, is that tonight? That's why I literally said it. Is that tonight? Are we supposed to be there?
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. My heart.
Matt Logic. Okay. Could they surprise us with a new cut? Man, that would be so great. But I figure. I think there was something in the contract whenever he signed over the original trilogy to Disney that they were not allowed to touch it.
But they added Malarkey, or McClunky,
no,
or whatever.
He added McClunky.
Oh, he added that
was the
before
final. That and the no from Darth Vader were the final.
Macaulay Culkin, and then
My internet is really crappy tonight, guys, so I apologize.
That's all right. So we can still hear you, so you might be like pausing. Yeah, there you go. Let's just do a screenshot of there, but we could still hear you, man. So.
I saw Cliff.
Right? I should do this.
This is something that I brought up in many of the shows that I do and everything. It shocks me still that some people out there don't know the real Star Wars. And when you think about it, it's very hard. I've done lots of shows with people that are like, what are you talking about? And I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you've never seen the original OG cuts.
Right.
So I've got them. I've got these
That's what I was gonna
specialized
say.
editions, man.
Cliff brought up a good point. He said, pull out the old VHS to see the old version. So if
100%.
you need to on DVD, if you guys look up for any type of sales, eBay, your Facebook, whatever it is, if it's the gold case DVD, that will come with the original version. That's the one that you're looking for. That was the last time that it was put out, was on DVD. It was this special anniversary edition, and the boxes are all gold.
Right.
So if you have to, that is the way to see original, because it came with both.
And
he did his version, and then the originals are in there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just dropped a link. I just dropped a link in our chat that there it is. I mean, cool. if you want to get it, there's it's awesome. You can't
it's
go
the only
wrong
way
with
to see
it.
it. Yeah,
it is the only way to see it. You know, I remember the hype around it when they reissued everything, and being in the theater, being like, what are we doing? You know, and they started from the added Jabba scene, because what is shown now was even worse than what we have now to watch. The first iteration of Jabba in that whole extended scene, which made zero sense anyway, because Han calls him a human being.
Wonderful human being.
You're a wonderful human being. And it's like, wait a second. But anyway, it's a good, like, you know, I know George Lucas's idea of it. I know what the reasons is, because, you know, it's the vision that he wanted to enhance stuff from that technology that wasn't available. But I remember listening to a lot of people going like, it was perfect as it was. We fell in love with it as is. There's no need
especially Return of the Jedi. You know,
especially that one.
Now that we've carried on with Boba Fett, and we've gotten used to Tamora Morrison as the voice of Boba Fett, the changes in Empire make sense,
right?
I'm okay with that. But Return of the Jedi was damn near perfect as it was, and the changes didn't help. I mean, I guess in some ways showing young Anakin instead of Sebastian Shaw as Anakin. Yeah. I guess that makes sense in the grand scheme of things, but
I have my theory on that too, as far as a canon explanation of the Force goes, you know, why they shown Anakin. And my canon explanation is that's the point when Anakin just ceased to exist, and when Darth Vader took over in a real way, you know, he even said it in that, even though he was redeemed, you know, whatever, at the end. But like when Anakin, that's the last time Anakin was Anakin Skywalker and not corrupted. And then, as you know, that's my canon way of explaining that that thing, right? The whole thing about him becoming a Force ghost and not because you have to train for that. That's a whole other thing.
Can of worms.
Yeah. So
Captain Jack with the original Jabba the Hutt in A New Hope was just Ezra.
It's just Ezra.
I know, right? It's just Ezra.
Oh, that's
or
funny.
is he Lando Calrissian?
Right.
On the
day. Jack. So welcome to the show also. But we were talking about that, like Disney isn't allowed to show the originals, right? Completely unaltered. Right. I think was in the contract stipulation. I don't know, man. Like it. I think it's even George Lucas was like, it is what it is, and we got over it as far as like we watch it as, you know, whatever. And yes, there's the unabridged copies of it that we like to do. And
D Blake here. Hey, what's up, man?
I love D
try
Blake
getting your kids into Star Wars by watching Mando, with your wife questioning why so many characters in the galaxy far, far away are human and 90% speak English. Number one, it's not English. It's basic.
It's basic.
So, you know, they all understand basic. So it's just, it's McClunky, whatever.
Yeah. You gotta, you know, suspend disbelief, right? So, but Star Wars is not like every other IP out there. It never has been, as far as like anything new that comes. It's inserted in a existing timeline, and it's not. It's not, you know, linear. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's hard to explain that to people too, like the Rey movie or Ahsoka series versus the Rebels versus Mando, all of that stuff. there's a little explanation on there, and we always use I always talk the original trilogy as the base. Here's this, and it's pre-post all that stuff. So,
Crystal E asks or says now she's questioning which version she's seen, and Cliff says if Han didn't kill Greedo in cold blood, you're seeing the special edition.
Yeah,
absolutely right. The question is always asked: who shot first, Greedo or Han Solo? Nobody shot first. Han shot. Greedo died.
Han shot only. Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying is the problem here is we don't think about that because we know. But we're so old now, and in that time, it's come up in conversation as far as like, wait a second, what are you talking about? Like, you've never ever seen the original. That is the original. It's on TV all the time. No, it's not.
With all the stuff that they're coming out, of course, the entertainment catches up with the times, right? It catches up with the energy and the ability to create that energy in cinematic fashion, and that's what really made the original trilogy special, is because it was so advanced in the 70s and 80s for that time. Fast forward to today, in my opinion, it does hold up. Maybe not A New Hope as much. Like, that's why Return of the Jedi has probably the most epic 3-way battle ever to grace cinema. Still to this day, the energy, the pacing, all that behind it. Ernie, you just had Matt on your channel, right? And he was talking about Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
D Blake, real quick. Our versions will only be remembered as stories, and new generations will refer to them as the Mandela effect.
That's right. Yes. 100%. Yeah. 100%. And that's going to my point, right? Where your guest Matt had just watched Indiana Jones, and he was like, you know what I mean? It didn't do it for him. And I'm like, and
that's what I'm saying.
And that's what, like, okay, so I could take something like Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? And just be totally
Joey just rewatched Indiana Jones for the first time since he had it on VHS. I'm like, what?
Oh, no, I go through the trilogy. I go through the trilogy.
Yeah.
Not the Christmas.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry.
But I'm just saying, like, if you watch something, I'll use Indiana Jones as a base on this, because Raiders doesn't have. It's got a lot of stuff into it, but it's a lot of just kind of like, you're immersed in the dialogue, you're immersed in what they're finding, and Henry Jones there's a lot more talk in that one, in that movie than the others, right? It's a little bit more less energetic than Temple and Last Crusade, but again, we love those movies. And if someone watched those today with stuff that they're seeing out there now, there could be a lopsided comparison. You know what I mean? And a lot of people call it nostalgia, and I get that. I know that we gravitate to everything on our walls is because of nostalgia. You know what I mean? But there's something about rewatching some 80s movies or 70s movies like this, and just being engulfed in the story rather than the energy behind it. Like we always say that it's not about the explosions, it's about what's going on and what's going the whole the cool factor of a archaeologist professor and in a real life adventurer, in real life, on it's like James Bond kind of deal, but it's artifacts and history and all these things, and it's such a great appeal. So I wish people would go into that kind of stuff with great appeal, and then mirror that to Star Wars. You know what I mean? This is your base for everything that you got going on. So it might not be the flashy Mandalorian, whatever, like original trilogy talking, but it's still, to me, better than all of it because it's got
anything.
Yeah.
I was just rewatching. I decided to go on a bit of a 90s kick and rewatched a couple of movies from the 90s. And first one up was Wayne's World, because I loved Wayne's World whenever, it came out whenever I was a senior in high school. So I'm watching Wayne's World and I'm like,
I stand corrected.
Wow.
Crystal.
It's Dr. Jones. Yeah.
Sorry.
Wayne's World does not hold up, but I watched Tombstone, and Tombstone holds up to some extent, but still it lacks that special something that Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark had, that adventure quality to it, that it just, I know it's also comparing apples and oranges, but there's something about the nostalgia of the 80s movie that holds up better than the nostalgia from the 90s movie. Especially the early 90s. There was a really weird phase in the early 90s where movies were just kind of
No, I agree, man. Like we hold on to our childhood movies, and I always have this back and forth argument about like being a generational thing, right? You know, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Tron, all these things. And then like the 90s to me, I'm like, to me, 90s had some really good cinema, but some really like it just took a dive, just like the music in the 90s took a dive, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So there and again, that could be just old man, Gen X, or boom, 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 right?
Get off my lawn.
Yeah. So I mean, it could be that too, where and I have to take a step back sometimes and be like, let people be there, let people have their pop culture the way they like it. You know what I mean? I have mine, and I shouldn't gatekeep it. I should let people have it, even though they're wrong. But no, I'm just kidding, man. But yeah. So I mean, like,
it's funny because these people are going to go watch the original cut and be like, I like the special edition.
Yeah, I like the musical number.
I still think, especially A New Hope, could really use like a choose your own adventure, where it's like, I want 90% of this movie except for the dogfight. I think the dogfight and the special editions at the end was superior. So it's like, take that, plug it into the original version of it, and you got a perfect movie.
I agree. I agree with the enhanced. You know, when you and I did that interview with the Inland Empire thing, you made a comment of that, and I said, like, you know, ditch the special editions, you know, and you said something like the special editions work for enhancing the graphics and the tools and all that stuff, like the flashiness. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's 100%. I agree with that.
But for every one of those
fights aren't white.
Right. But for every one of those dog fights, you've also got cartoon Jabba the Hutt getting his tail stepped on. What the hell? Like Jabba the Hutt wouldn't have Han Solo executed on sight for being for doing something like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's just
not because it went backwards. It was the vile gangster Jabba the Hutt in Return of the Jedi was a bad guy in this, and you made him gullible in the New Hope. And that's my problems with the comics right now. With the not all the comics, the Star Wars comics, but like what you were showing me about the Kira comics.
Yeah.
The Kira comics are making Darth Vader look like a just a fool. I'm sorry, Kira and Black Sun are not more powerful or have hold more weight than the Empire with Darth Vader at the helm. It just doesn't. It's not should be a thing. And anyway, that's a whole different thing.
The fact that she stood toe to toe with Darth Vader in a sword fight, I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I get she had a moment in Solo where she was able to fight, Voss, but
right. I know
he is not Darth Vader. That's dumb.
She's good, anyway. but Darth Vader doesn't have my point was he doesn't have time for this. Force choke her dork and then or just like move her away and then go take what you want. You're from the Empire is at this take all kind of stuff. You're not in a dueling challenge. Darth Vader doesn't have time for that. With Dryden Voss, that was a whole different thing. But Cliff,
Thank you, Dryden. I forgot his name.
Oh yeah, Dryden Voss. Yeah,
and I'm frozen again, aren't I?
Most of the special edition, except for Han Greedo and the removal of Yub Nub. Absolutely,
yes.
Like okay, I can stare at my phone.
Know that.
Yeah, I can stare at my phone during the musical numbers, and the Jabba scene, but the removal of the Ewok song at the end of Return of the Jedi, and this is where I don't like it. Chris is the only one that knows that likes the new song.
If they were to take the Yub Nub song, okay, we all call it the Yub Nub song because it's the original version. The Ewoks were dancing around the campfire. Yeah, it was a nice little Ewok song. Yeah, in their language. If that would have like faded into the new music and we saw the other things that were around the galaxy and then faded back into the Ewok song at the very end, perfect.
That's
just to remove that.
Yeah. Well, here it goes.
And the Jabba the Hutt song. The Jabba the Hutt song. That was Lap T Neck.
Yeah.
F that song, man. That is
No,
horrible.
the Jedi Rock song or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah. In basic, it was Jedi. It was Jedi Rock on the soundtrack. But it did. But they also did not remove the original song. It was just moved later. Like they had it after the fact. Anyway, I 100%. But that goes to what Gordon's question is: if you guys can add one special edition moment to the sequels, what would it be?
Special edition moment to the sequels.
He said sequels.
What would we do to the sequels?
Like if we've talked about this.
I think he meant to the originals, maybe.
No, I think he's saying the sequel. Like if we talked about adding.
Oh, of us making a special edition. Moment.
Two things.
I got it.
Yeah,
okay.
Two things. When Rey touched the lightsaber in The Force Awakens, I think there should have been an Emperor moment, a laugh, a flash of Palpatine surviving, something that just gives a little hint, like that thing. And then second of all, when Rey is fighting the Emperor at the end, all the Force ghosts show up behind her. Those are probably the two things that I would add to, the sequels.
Ernie, what about you?
Yeah.
Somehow Boba Fett survived. That's all I need.
Yeah.
That's it. That would have made it just so much better.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Cliff is asking for an eraser.
An eraser?
I agree.
For me, no, I've been saying it ever since they announced that Rey was, a Palpatine. It's like, yes, that moment of the Emperor laugh, the cackle, just in the background.
That would have made our heads explode.
Whenever she released we would have been like, what does that mean? And then at the very end, whenever it would all be tied together, that would have been the clincher. Yeah. That would have, I don't want to say that would have saved The Rise of Skywalker, because that movie has a crap load of issues. Yeah. But it would have at least made it a little more plausible. It would have made, I don't know. I think they're doing a pretty good job of, I guess retconning or filling in those gaps that make The Rise of Skywalker feel more complete, but still. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Ernie. Go ahead.
Okay. So mine, in all honesty, would be I just wanted you to finish, but to know I honestly had one. Yeah. The thing that I had the most problem with that I would make a special edition move is I would erase the tossing of the lightsaber.
Yeah.
Over the shoulder.
Yeah.
And instead I would cut that out and I would add in a little bit of that beginning. I hate how 8 started right after immediately. Yeah. We've always had a break. We've always had a thing. I wish a specialized version showed that up to a point to where they could stop it and then act like there was a break of training or something. Do you get what I'm saying? And starts 8 a different way. And that's all it would take was go ahead and finish that kind of scene with her and you have to redo your crawl and everything, but where it would make more sense of time has gone on. We just didn't continue the next movie right immediately.
Like Empire, we started on Hoth, Echo Base, knowing that they've established a new main base and everything, because they obviously knew that they were on Yavin at that point. And so you knew that there was a huge time jump there, or a year or two or whatever it was. And I thought with Force Awakens and Last Jedi, they kind of established it was between the other two, like 8 and 9. 8 and 9 were like one whole day. You know what I mean? I had the 18-hour chase, and then we get right to 9, which was like
a year later. No, episode 9 was a year later.
Because I thought the establishment of the base on Last Jedi. See, this is why I need to watch a movie. I need to watch the movies more because I don't have.
The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi was immediate.
That's right. You're right, Ernie. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
The Rise of Skywalker was a year later, and you're right. It needed more time to develop. The First Order needed to become more of a threat, I think.
Right.
The First Order, but instead they were.
That's what the Mandalorians should be doing, right? That's
that's what.
Gordon only gave us one option. I would like 7 options per sequel movie to add or subtract, and then I might make it in my head a better movie, because like in the chat, like Benicio del Toro's character, the casino. I mean, there's a lot of things that. Just wonky, man.
And 9, it was that they, you know what? They committed with The Last Jedi. Everybody was complaining that The Force Awakens was too close to A New Hope. So, and everybody's like, we want something different. We want something new.
Right.
And then The Last Jedi came out. And The Last Jedi was different and new. And people were like, no, not that different. Not
I agree
that
with
new.
That. Yeah. I 100% agree with you on that. I do.
And then they chickened out. They crapped their pants and chickened out with the Rise of Skywalker and played it safe.
Yep.
If they would have just stayed on that, just stick to their moral, stick to their guns, and just continue on that trajectory.
Yeah.
And I read that the script for, what was it? The original script
Trevorrow's.
for the Trevorrow's. Yeah. I read that, and it had a crap load of issues with it that needed to be reworked, but a couple of rewrites would have taken care of that.
Sure.
But it's like Captain Jack is saying, it was TLJ is literally a filler movie. That's fine, but they established something in that filler movie and they chickened out and they decided to play it safe and not continue on that trajectory they were headed.
100%. Like I've seen the comment of like Rise of Skywalker should have been episode 7, and then we get this aftermath of this rebuilding of the Jedi Order and conflict of whatever. Yeah. But I walked out of The Last Jedi. The first thing I said when you weren't with us, Scott, but we were there, and I walked out and looked at Chris. I'm all, that was like a remake. That was a Star Wars remake.
Of which one? The
Last Jedi. Force Awakens. Sorry, Force Awakens. Yeah. I told him, I said, this. Okay. I told him, I said, that was a remake. I mean, I enjoyed it because it had energy. It was actually done very well. Pacing and all that stuff. Right. But I mean, it almost beat by beat had a New Hope, but with added extra stuff in there. Yeah. And to make it its own, like, it established stuff, but and like, I've always hated the First Order. Like, I don't think it ever belonged. I hated the fact of the Resistance. I didn't think it worked. But it was the Force issues. It was Kylo, Rey, even Han at that point, even Snoke, which I really kind of like gravitated to. Last Jedi, you're 100% right. Like, I think they did some really, really cool stuff with it that I even talked to Cliff about this too on in nauseum at points, was like, wait until I have to see Rise, and I got to see what they did with it to make me change my vision of Last Jedi and Force Awakens. Like I need to see what they're gonna do. And then you're right, it was a safe movie. Like, it was safe.
There was the line
about which it that was everybody involved should be embarrassed about. Letting it go was somehow Palpatine returned. That is an embarrassment to story writing.
But I mean, at least you're absolutely right. But I do like the fact that they're using that maybe with what we're getting in.
They got no choice
in the
now.
Mandoverse. Yeah. And you know what? It's working in the Mandoverse. And I saw somebody yell at somebody for calling it the Mandoverse. It's Star Wars. No, it's the Mandoverse.
Well, this is the Mandoverse at this point, because I feel comfortable calling it the Mandoverse. I have no problem with it. Here's the thing, though, to bring this up, though, what the Mandalorian, what the last episode of season 3 gave us, though, with the clones of Moff Gideon, I was like, that kind of destroyed some of the stuff that I was building in my head of, they're creating stuff for the sequels, like being Snoke or Emperor. How are we doing? Now, I know that it still can come full circle, right? Mm-hmm. But it was like, again, more and more that I watched that, it was like I think it was Crystal E who said it was like the rumor of Pedro Pascal not returning for Mandalorian. I can understand that sentiment because of how season 3 left off. It was almost like a finale, a closer. Even my mom, she even watched it. She goes, "Was that it? Like, are we done?" Because that seemed like it was done. I said, It didn't, right? It looked like a series finale.
It felt like a series.
That was something I wanted to bring up that nobody has talked about ever. I don't think he was even there.
Other than in a voice in a sound booth.
Yeah. And at the same time, if that did happen with the technology that we have now, they could cut it from him and do other voice mods, because it's him in a helmet. We've had 2 other seasons, so
let's be all honest. It's a great payday for standing in a booth and saying some lines. Why would he stop? I mean, if you've got somebody else under the helmet,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he didn't do it himself. I'm just saying, as far as maybe a Disney side, hey, we need you to show up to the premiere. And he's like, what did we shoot? Like,
say
you know
these
what
lines.
I'm saying? Yeah.
Pretend you're jogging and say these lines. Have like an archive, but
Diablo Cooling says, I think The Rise of Skywalker was awesome. Episode 1 movie got me as a Star Wars fan still. Hey man, you know what? We were original trilogy people whenever it came in, and I particularly had issue with a lot of the things that happened in the prequels, but I still think that The Phantom Menace is probably, for me, the pinnacle of the prequels. I think that was a great movie.
Yeah.
And hey, good on you for liking The Rise of Skywalker. Just personally, it didn't.
He's not alone.
It didn't. No, he's not alone. But it didn't work for me because there were things that were established in The Last Jedi that just weren't fleshed out. They weren't seen to their fruition. You know what I mean? I was excited to see Kylo Ren as like the ultimate villain. And
sure.
I would have liked to have seen him redeemed at the end anyway, but still, to see him as
it felt good because
Skywalker finally ruling the galaxy would have been crazy.
It's just like Mando, like I said, the series finale, the season, whatever you want to call it. It was that nice little bow on everything, finalized. There was like no questions asked, boom, 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 done, and that's where like there's a lot more, like even Return of the Jedi didn't do that. Yes, they put a lot of bows on things, but they opened the door with Leia and Luke. They opened it with by her, eventually you'll learn to use the Force as I do. Do you remember my mother? Like they opened doors that were like, oh, okay, there's stuff that we can, either have in the future or whatever. The prequels, I think, nailed it on paper as far as like everything establishing, like it was so emotional driven that a lot of people did it. I hear a lot of people love the sequels, and like I said, I don't blame anybody for loving the sequels. A lot of things were like my personal biggest problem was the lack of Anakin Skywalker in anything. Yes, he had Darth Vader's mask burnt, but that I don't know even to this day what that meant. You know what I mean? Like I mean, we could probably flesh it out and talk about it, but it didn't have like an impact like what we were speculating.
It was a moment for the audience. Yeah, it was a moment for the audience to go, oh, I know what that is.
Oh, sure.
I mean, that's what that was.
If it was an Easter egg, then that's whatever. Yeah. But why we're more critical of the sequels on that aspect is because they didn't utilize a lot of the stuff that was established. And like I said, the first 6 movies, and George Lucas said this, this is Anakin's story, his birth, life, and redemption, all that stuff. It's an Anakin story. And I would have loved the fact that it would have somehow carried on to the sequels, and like, we speculate, we theory crafted about Rey being a reincarnation of Anakin, because if Anakin was born of the Force, and so can Rey, and then this whole thing almost like a Darth Revan story with light and dark kind of stuff. But they just didn't utilize a lot of that stuff that was, we thought everything surrounded Anakin and the Chosen One theory, where the sequels did its own thing, and then like the somehow Palpatine returned, and the First Order was like boom, and then it was like a bunch of teenagers playing with big guns, and it was like, it just felt weird. But
it really did feel like that too, especially the stormtroopers. The weapons they carried, they looked like Nerf guns. Everything looked kind of plasticky,
I don't like the First Order. I never did. I still don't like. I don't like the look of them.
That's why I'm so excited with what we're getting.
Yeah.
I think, especially whenever it comes to, okay, so we had our story with Rey. It's canon. It's never going to be retconned. We don't want it to be retconned. Even if we don't like what happened in The Rise of Skywalker necessarily, it happened.
Right.
This is a story that took place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's written. So it is written. So it is.
Right.
Or
and like,
that's
saying. And Diablo Cooling, that's what we do. We take it.
Yeah.
We might have our constructive, we might be critical and stuff like that. We might kind of like just what I just said and what Scott just said, but we put it in its timeline, and every piece we try to talk about it and make sense and theory craft in the future, like the Rey movie that's coming out. That's supposed to be a 15.
That's what I was getting at.
Okay, sorry.
That's what I was getting at.
Maybe I should let you finish.
No, I'm kind of excited to see what this means, because it's Rey 15 years in the future. The Sith have been wiped off the board. Like it or not, how it happened crossed sabers or whatever. It doesn't matter. They're wiped off the board right now.
Right.
So there is a new galactic threat coming.
Right.
I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this something new. And then we've got another story that's supposed to take place 30,000 years before A New Hope.
Right.
I am so excited for the future of Star Wars.
I am
with
too.
These new possibilities.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Like, I've been hearing things about the Rey story. Now, I'll just call it the New Jedi Order story. And it's funny how they're picking that title because there is like 15 books dedicated to the New Jedi Order. Yeah. The time frame takes place where the sequels would have taken place 25 to 30 years after.
Right. With Jason Solo, Jaina Solo.
So we just change a little things. My thinking is the Yuzong Vong is going to come as the new galactic threat. I mean, that makes sense. And no more, like I said, no more Sith because now we're on repeat and see where that takes us. And then the fact that they're using Dawn of the Jedi as a title for the 25 to 30,000 year sequels or prequels on
prequels.
Prequels on the Star Wars timeline, which I'm excited for because there's some uncharted territories that we could establish and get in there and get away from the Skywalker Galactic Empire saga. We can explore some new mythos. We can explore some new Force users, how they discover the dark side, how they split. And that's, to me,
how
really
they discover
cool.
The Force. I mean,
yeah.
There's some dude out there fishing with his fishing pole and caught a frog like Grogu did, and it all comes full circle.
Now, I am hoping again, and this is me personally. I'm not speaking for anybody here or anybody. Like, I do hope that this New Jedi I don't know if it's going to, but I do hope that the New Jedi Order movie with Rey as the center point. I do hope it's a catapult for something else. Like, I hope it's launching something, like they need this to tie in some loose end or to establish or reestablish some things from the sequels. Bring it to the forefront and then propel into like some completely new charted territory, really getting away from the Skywalker saga. I really hope so. I hope it's not just a fun little ride and Rey's rebuilding the Jedi Order and some bad things happen, but at the end it's all prevailed and that was like a standalone. It just, to me, it's like I don't want. I'll go see it, but I don't care to. Right?
I've got a cool theory, but it looks like Ernie has something to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just listening in on you guys. I mean, I like it all too. I'm excited about that. I'm even more excited for the Filoni movie to continue what has been going on as a correction. The only thing that I can say to that is I am excited about those two and the Rey one, but I hope that they've actually sat down and give it a chance with the popularity of the Mandoverse and what they have done, that if there is a way to fix it or to do anything, that they do listen to them and not, well, you stick to your TV shows. I mean, and I think that him getting his own movie is a good eye opener to show, hey, we're listening. So I would hope that they would do that to bring him on with this continuing. Because what he's done with the Mandoverse, everybody who's a part of it, not just Filoni and Favreau,
right? Exactly.
Everybody who's a part of it is so much that I feel there is a chance to fix the sequels. And again, the sequels are the sequels, but what I mean is storytelling wise,
enhance them, reasons, kind of like
everything. And
Fill
I see
those
everybody
gaps.
and I see everybody who's jumping on like the Dark Rey theory and all that. So I would love to see with that movie I know it's called the New Jedi Order, and we how you said, so there's no more Sith or anything, right? But there's still Sith properties. She used Sith lightning.
Yeah.
If you remember that, because she is a Palpatine and had it in her and she didn't know and she looked. So what if this developed into something new of both properties?
Actually, one of my favorite scenes in Rise of Skywalker, whenever she reached up and it
thought she killed Chewie,
lightning
did it.
That was
so
great.
This new Jedi Order is, what if there is no more Sith Jedi, the gray part or anything, but she's adapted into this, which they're calling, a Jedi Order or something. I think that would be for good storytelling, because then you go back to see her conflict of not knowing who she was, using both, and like I said, through storytelling, actually get that across. That would be cool.
It is a flawed ideology, the Jedi's use of the Force, because if like if you're in a fight to the death or your back's against the wall and you're trying to save a million people behind you and this weapon's coming at you or somebody's coming at you and you're not allowed to tap into that dark side ability or something that can actually save the day, but it gets you this power hungry mode, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
That's would be cool to explore is how to balance the force, like a real balance of utilizing like the dark and light side, like what Luke did in the EU stuff that, he got all messed up and, kind of like almost killed him in a way. Yeah, it almost corrupted him. But if Rey could figure it out, that would be something cool to explore. I'm not saying that it's the end all be all. She finds his new power, but like something where she's not afraid of that. And maybe that's where Yoda was getting at to Luke. Like, it was all the Jedi texts were the Jedi
matter. Correct.
Yeah. So the Jedi texts were like their ideology and their rules of engagement kind of stuff, because they had, the Jedis had the rules of engagement. We don't do this. We save this person, not this person, the greater good, blah, blah, all that stuff. So to kind of like continue a split down the line where there's this side and that side, I don't think there's any growth for Force users, right? You would have to try to combine them in a safe way. And maybe that exploring that blurring those lines, Rey is the catalyst for that. That would be cool to kind of explore a little bit,
I was thinking it would be kind of cool that maybe this is the springboard, the launching pad for a new trilogy.
Yeah.
That doesn't star her. Maybe something happens by the end of that just
yeah. That's what I'm hoping. It's a
launches it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is rumors of Rey not being the center point of this movie. They're saying Rey's in it. The latest rumor that I read was Rey's almost going to be like a legacy character that the sequels were. Like she'll be there around, but it's really going to focus on somebody brand new or people brand new, and Rey's going to be there as that guidance or that teacher, because she'll be in her 40s at this point, right? Like, if she was
so old.
I mean, but it's in the prime of her teaching. She's not going to be learning at this point, right? She's going to be interesting. I don't know who this is, but it's this Facebook user. Maybe
I think it's Scott Winters.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
he's saying,
Winters.
Well, we saw how well Dark Nihilus fared with tapping into dark. Yes. If it's Scott Winters, I would love a mini series of Darth Nihilus. Like, that is danger times 100. That is dark side on 11. The uncontrollable need, hunger, devouring for the sake of it is just like out of control force where it's unstoppable. That would be very, very, very cool. But yeah, again, see, here's the thing. That's in the past, and we saw how he fared on that. But let's explore somebody who can actually blur those lines. Like, we haven't had that.
It's funny because I think that would be a great story point for whatever's taking place way back in the past, the 30,000 years.
Yeah.
Whenever they discover the Force, what if somebody is like that and they can't control it, and all it is consume.
I have to put this. Cliff is saying, well, maybe Finn shouting Rey will make more sense if she's older and can't hear as well. I agree. It's so funny.
90% of his script was him shouting Rey through 3 movies.
Yeah.
It's, oh my God. And people, and that's a part of the terrible writing I keep hearing about whenever it comes to the Star Wars sequels. Finn is a character that was completely just tossed to the side. And
it was an afterthought. He definitely was an afterthought it was an afterthought at the 0 hour. Like at the 11th hour, they gave Rey character development at the 3rd act of the last movie and not enough time to explore it or to come to fruition. It was, I need to tell you something, and never told anybody.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. And maybe people can argue from The Force Awakens it was him too, like that realization or whatever. But we had then there's like a movie and a half in between that. We never picked it back up again. And all he was concerned was Ray, all those things. And why is it so important for him to tell her? Also, another rumor is John Boyega in talks too, coming back.
I like that, and I agree with what the Sabersmith is saying.
Explore more Finn. He needs to be a favorite. He seems to be a favorite. You know, I agree. And if that was, like I said, if that was the plot of Finn becoming a Force user and Force sensitive, like I said, they used that character development at the 11th hour when the audience was like, we don't care right now because we're on this thing. We're on the Sith Eternal Rising. We're on these things. And now we got this thing that we maybe should have been done in the very first act of the first movie. You know what I mean?
It was all hinted at.
Yeah.
There you had Finn with the saber. You had Finn.
Right.
It just didn't all there. And they just didn't take the bait. They didn't go for it.
And that's the big complaint about Last Jedi too, was Last Jedi could have been a movie that, established a lot of those things. And that's why John Boyega got mad. That's why people got mad about the character development. They just dropped it. They dropped it completely. And like I said, and then that last minute they go, we'll just sprinkle some little bit of
a little bit of Force, little bit there,
and we'll never get to it though. So
and they could have taken out that there's no reason to have Canto Bight there. You get rid of that whole bit
political point of Star Wars,
and you introduce something else that revolved around Finn. Give him more of a storyline, not just pining for Rey. And
here's something that you can add to that. Add to the sequel. Like I said, take that Rey story, and then Benicio del Toro's character. I forgot his name in the
DJ. Yeah.
Maybe Finn sensing that he's not the guy, or something like I should trust him because the Force is telling me to trust him. That would be like something that carried forward, right? But no, they just didn't want to. They didn't want to explore it, and
here we are. Here we are complaining about the sequels. 3 years later. Just like we did with the prequels. Whenever, at least
trust me, we did it for the prequels. We did it with the prequels a lot. Some of us here still do it with the prequels about the pod racing and
Attack of the Clones,
the whole movie.
It is on the bottom rung of the Star Wars ladder for me. I mean, I would rather watch Rise of Skywalker on repeat over watching Attack of the Clones.
I watched
it
again not too long ago the other day, and I just was like, I don't get Scott's anger with it. I really don't. Like it. It's actually pretty good. It's a good, like I said, with the prequel or the prequels, you always had to take it for its face value. You couldn't take it for the visual or the acting, like you couldn't take it for
so acting. You can't take it for the story. You can't take it for acting. You can't take it for the visuals.
No, I said for the story.
Oh, for the story. Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, story is the only thing it's got, right? So it's besides,
and even that is convoluted as hell. Yeah. Okay, so Jango Fett, the baddest bounty hunter on the planet, on the galaxy, is hired to do a job that he subcontracts out to do somebody else to do the job. And why?
Because he's a supervisor, so he has to delegate and tell everybody else to do it. See,
somebody steal a stapler. Yeah, Jango Fett is the guy who's standing over the cubicle, going, "Yeah, Zam, I'm going to need you to come in on Saturday. I really need you to take out Padme."
Yeah. I mean,
even she did it. She sent in smaller creatures. It went all the way down.
Yeah, it did. She subcontracted it out.
Yeah.
I got these millipedes I've been dying to use.
Yeah.
Right. Cliff, it reads as a middle school love story. Absolutely.
100%. But it was like I said, it was George Lucas' attempt to create the stigmata between Jedi's rules, Jedi rules, right? Possessions and the fear of losing that person in your life that Jedi should not be feared to lose because that's a path to the dark side. It's all like it's all there. It's just executed like just cringy, like you're going like, oh my god, I
like Sabersmith's. And I agree with Sabersmith here.
Yeah.
How about more animation about legend stuff? How about more animation? They could do so much in animation.
I
They
hope
could
Tales
fill
of the
in
Jedi
so many
really
gaps.
explore that, like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, man. And they could still use Mark Hamill as the voice of Luke. They could do all sorts of things.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Cliff is
still
saying,
into it all. I still enjoy it all. I love watching them all from all of
like
them.
I said, dude, it's
except Resistance, and now I have to swallow my words for that because I found out in the Ahsoka trailer that the dude from Resistance, that's his dad in there.
Yeah, it's Kaz,
and I was all,
dad.
oh, man.
I know.
I was like,
but
I was
still not
so
gonna,
safe from everything.
I am still not going to rewatch that show. Sorry.
Yeah.
Crowbarred that in there in the writing department.
That's the only thing, but I still enjoy from prequels to sequels to original, all the cartoon stuff and everything. And now is the perfect time that we don't have anything on for people to go do that. I mean, you have to watch Rebels before Ahsoka. Go get caught up on it. And
I agree,
if
man.
you haven't seen the OGs, go try and hunt those down.
We're going to be talking about it. When Ahsoka gets closer and closer at the end of August, we're going to be talking about it a lot because I'm sure all of us are going to be doing a rewatch. I just finished a rewatch again. I'm ready to go again. There's so much more.
I freaking love Rebels.
Of Rebels?
So much.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rebels
and
is so good.
Yeah.
Geez, I don't know. Well, okay, so I watched it again, and we're already speculating that very last cutscene when Ahsoka, Hera, and Sabine and Jason Syndulla are off to go get Ezra, and we're saying, okay, where does that fit in the timeline? Where is that, I watched that again, and I'm like, I think Jason Solo is only like 5 or 6 years old at that point.
Yeah.
And I think that puts us at Return of the Jedi, right? Like right after it, not Mando. I think it only puts us, at the after the Battle of Endor kind of deal, like Ahsoka sews up to Lothal. I think that's where. So it's not the Mandalorian time frame. So when we catch up with Ahsoka again, 5-6 years after that, she's still looking for Thrawn, and you know what I mean. That's like, there's something there, unless Jason's 9 or 10. But I don't.
It was also Dave Filoni said is the one who put that speculation out there that was like, well, does that take place right away? I'm not.
I'm just going by the age of Jason.
Non-linearly.
I'm just going by the age of the kid. He looked around 5 or 6 ish. So I'm like, okay, well, that should put us right after the Battle of Endor.
Yeah.
And then now we have Ahsoka showed up in Mandalorian season 2 about 6 years after that point. So unless you could just make the argument like Jason Solo was 10 years old or 11 years old at that point, but it just didn't look like an 11-year-old. You know what I mean? Like
he's a freaky looking kid, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress. But that's the importance that you got to go back and watch Rebels because it's all there. The trailer was the last episode of Rebels. So if you, I mean, in a sense.
And if you want more info on the Darksaber and what all that means, the Mandalorian culture, it's really delved into deep in Rebels with Bo-Katan showing up, and
you're gonna see why Bo-Katan had the saber in the first place, and then you're gonna realize she gave it to Moff Gideon, and season. So it's all there, like to remind yourself. And I do believe that Disney is putting together an essential pack. They already have one on Ahsoka.
Of which ones to watch?
Yeah, and I think Filoni said that in an interview that Disney Plus should have a Essentials Rebels episodes to watch, and then that'll catch you up. So 15 episodes or whatever that'll bring you up to speed for the Ahsoka series, like a huge recap, which is cool. I think it's needed, but we'll be doing our deep dive on that too. I'm sure it'll come up in a lot of conversations as Ahsoka gets closer and we get more stills and we get more rumors and everything.
Are we going to do a full-on breakdown of Rebels? Because I don't think we've done a full-on breakdown of Rebels yet.
We did way back in the day before the YouTube days, but I think it's good to revisit it again. We did a whole chronological order of a watch on everything Star Wars.
I remember doing it for Clone Wars. I don't remember diving into Rebels.
We did it for Rebels, but but that was to the point when the season 4 had just dropped also. The second half of it or whenever they finished and dropped it, we brought it right into our line talk. But again, it was it was kind of like it was brand new to us. We didn't have time to digest it, but yeah, I think I think you're right, and we should do a deep dive on Rebels, getting closer to the Ahsoka series, definitely.
Maybe we could do season 1 for half an episode of ours, season 2 for half an episode of ours.
Something
spread
like
it out over 4 episodes. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
not a full episode. And the
SoundCloud days, which we are still on the SoundCloud. So if you're listening to us via audio, hello. I know you can't see us, but you can still hear us.
Marco just waved to the screen of
I
saying
did.
hello,
I know.
And he said you can't see us.
I know.
But he did. He waved for everybody those still listening
trying to blend
the
the
podcast
two
side
worlds.
So
I said hello
thanks,
and waved.
He's crossing the streams.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We greatly appreciate it all the time on whatever listening platform you listen to.
Oh, Kuchana.
Welcome aboard.
Damn, I want to go to this, man.
Matt
Logic, we gonna talk Young Jedi shorts next week? Probably not.
I watched the first four shorts. I did. I watched the first 4 shorts, and they are kids. What they are. They're just little kids going on adventures, trying to find flowers and trying to save robots. And stuff.
Matt Logic, no. We're not going to talk that, but we are going to talk Visions too, because I did see some more things come out and it looks really cool. I even liked, I liked, I didn't mind the Vision. I feel like there's a place for it. You know what I mean? I didn't mind the first Vision season 1.
There were a couple things that were like, but there were a few things that were like, wow, that is really impressive. And I'd like to see those things continue.
Yeah, a couple things reskinned and just calling it Star Wars just for the sake of it on season 1. So I'm hoping that this season there's a little bit more cooler, like, cool little storylines. They're not canon, so we can just have fun with it.
Yeah. We did have a couple of toy drops. So we want to do a couple of toy drops really quick.
Yeah, go for it. Because the toy industry is changing, man. Especially Star Wars is changing. We're getting the Mando. What was it? The Mando drops every week, like one
Mando Mania.
Yeah. And they finalized. Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead. You have some picks or whatever.
Well, I finally decided that enough's enough. I'm sticking with the vintage collection. I canceled everything. Every pre-order I had out there, I canceled, except for the vintage collection stuff. And I'm probably frozen right now because my internet's
you froze just a little bit, but we can still hear you.
But the latest drop that we had, let's hope this works. For the Black Series, we had the Mandalorian Fleet Commander.
Out of all the characters that they want to drop us, we get him.
Helmeted. I like the white and blue look of the helmet with the V on the crest right there. That's pretty cool, but it's not going to be enough to get me to buy
Where's
it.
our Carson Teva? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
There's more important characters at this point that established from season 1 that we could be getting. And I digress.
And then we also had, and I think we're probably going to pop out of the corners of this one. We had Yoda's lightsaber Force Effects Black Series pop, and that's cool.
Are you getting this, Scott? I know you're the one that gets the sabers.
I do get the sabers, but Yoda's doesn't really do it for it. No, not really. It's probably it's what third the size of a regular lightsaber. It's probably going to cost the same. So
$300. Sure.
I'm good. I don't need it. And then this is the one that I might get, but at the same time I might not because it's like $45. Is the vintage collection speeder bike with another Grogu, and the Scout Trooper. Which the coolest part about this to me is that Scout Trooper is Ted Lasso. So maybe.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, I forget the actor's name. But yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
Ted Lasso played this particular biker scout.
Oh, okay.
And so I kind of want that just for that reason.
Nice.
That's not a good enough reason to drop $45 on something I already have a dozen of.
I don't know how much the Black Series one was.
When the Black Series one came out, it was like $60.
No, it was still 40.
No, it was like I thought it was
still 40 because it was that old. Because it was that old, so it was still 40 then. You're absolutely right with the 65.
Jason Sudeikis. There we go. Yeah,
Sudeikis. Yes.
Yeah.
So
thanks, Cliff.
Yeah, with those two, the vintage collection is strong. That does really suck for the Black Series. Like, okay, cool. That's a Mando, but give me a bunch of those Mandos in a box set that I can buy. And still at the same time, you should make them cheaper. because they are all just dressed up different Mando colors. So if you had 4, that should be like a $70 4-pack for you to get of different Mandos.
They do it at the Vintage Collection.
Mando, I want the 3 Mando pirates from the last couple episodes. I think mean
stuff like that. This guy had no lines. He didn't. Was there something written different? Was there?
Yeah.
Did he have no lines? I thought he said something. Did he not say anything?
Okay.
I don't remember.
I think he said okay. I'm serious.
Roger.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's just we could have had so much more from
out of all the figures or all the characters brought to us.
I am full on with Carson, of course, for my reasons. But Apelli, there's so much more.
We have 3 Grief Kargas. 3.
And there's no reason for it. And every one of them peg warmed. Okay.
And I want that.
Carson is set up already for 2 outfits. I mean, we could at least have 2 outfits for that dude.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
It's an X-Wing mold, so that it should come with a jacket that you can easily just take off.
Yeah. Take the cheap and easy route. Exactly. Put him in an X-Wing outfit, give him a repainted helmet, and I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I want Carson's have a figure.
Yeah. So with that too, I want the Yoda saber, but they're too much. Those effects ones are pretty pricey.
But they're great. But
they are good. They are. Yeah. I mean, how I got my Palpatine one for the effects that they have, that does hold it over for the Disney ones. Like I wish the Disney ones had effects. Like that is something they need to think about.
Sure.
So the reason of wanting a Yoda one is just for that. I would take that one to the park all the time because it's smaller. It's more easy to carry and be like around the park of Batu or whatever. I got my saber too.
Cylinder on your pad.
The ones that we build are heavy, dude. They're heavy.
So with that's why I want that one. So if that goes on sale, like I'm definitely gonna grab it just for that reason and take to the park.
Yeah.
And then also Mayfex also dropped a new Vader and Ahsoka, and those pre-orders are up for import figures. The Ahsoka looks really, really good. And I do some people in the chat are talking about, Andrew said, I'm going to stick with my SHF and Mayfex for Star Wars figures. And I do. So I agree with that. So that's a good move. So that is also out there. If you guys are looking into what else can I get at this moment for figures, if you're not too knowledgeable in that, is look up Mayfex, MAFEX, and look up the new Ahsoka or the Vader that just went up from them. Yeah, and they are size different.
They're great. Great figures. They just don't run deep in lines, right? But I mean, they're still great. Matthew, that was on your guest on your Chronicles was talking, and I do the exact same thing. I have mixed match in my thing. Like I have definitive R2 and 3PO figures from SH Figure Arts. I won't buy another Black Series one. I don't care what they give us. Those are my 2 figures, my definitive Luke Farm Boy, Leia A New Hope, and Obi-Wan. If they reissue them a million times, I won't buy them. I have them as SH. So like I have like this inner mixed figures in there because I think that makes the most sense. So use Mayfex and SH for those reasons too.
And a real quick plug here, if you need stands, remember Tashi Station Emporium for all your stands, for all your figure needs is what you need. And to dress up those figures, because a lot of people are now getting into collecting. There is space walls. There is little accessories that you can get as well, bases that show it. The brand new Blast Doors is also available. And to intertwine the streams here, hit up D. Blake Makes page. D. Blake Makes. You saw him in the chat here. Go back and look if you don't. He is to treat your shelf, and his signs are available. I have them all over the Mythosaur. I got the G.I. Joe, and it goes so perfect in front of Marco's stands from Tashi Station Emporium for the Joe, and you can see the G.I. Joe right there.
Yeah, I'm going to actually
Star Wars.
I'm going onto a site because I've been doing the Super 7 Ultimates. So I'm going to use some D. Blake Make signs and put it behind and stuff. So I need to cover it.
You want a great setup, Tashi Station Emporium, get all your stuff. And then when you have your display that you're going for, then dress up that shelf and hit up D. Blake Makes.
Awesome. We need a little cut thing, like, I know.
I've been telling you that.
Remember, we're working on it.
It's
in the plans.
Yes.
Like Scott mentioned earlier today, it's in the plans.
In other words, Scott's got to make it. This is what he's saying.
That's why I pointed
to
right.
Shoot.
You can't tell I'm pointing at you, but I am.
I'm ready to shoot anytime. Let's do this.
Yeah. I know a live stream has been scheduled for May 3rd. Hasbro Star Wars live stream for their
that came
May
out today
4th
too.
presentation. Yeah. So whatever they're announcing, live stream on the 4th, and pre-orders go live on the 4th, or live stream 3rd, pre-orders 4th. So
I ain't dropping a dime. They can kiss my lily white one.
The only problem is, Scott, everybody's on pre-orders, no matter what line it is, no matter what company, it's all pre-order.
I've decided, especially after the Indiana Jones debacle, I've decided I'll just find it at Target. I go there. I go there every week.
Yeah, like I said, dude, like there needs to be a huge overhaul or reform, but I don't see it happening. And I think it's because of the Amazons and stuff like that they're just pre-orders. Here's the thing about that too. I don't know how companies make money besides the ones who take your money up front, because Hasbro makes no monies on pre-orders. You know what I mean? They just take them in, and then you kind of secured a figure maybe a little later, but you don't pay for it until it's coming on. So that's why I'm like, I have all these things pre-ordered, and if I find them in the stores, I'll cancel it, no problem. But it's not just it's like everybody does it. Like, there was a bunch of SH figure arts back in when we were watching Han Solo. Remember, the Jabba the Hutt was supposed to come out, the Wicked and all these things, and like I don't even know if that even made it to to production.
No,
it's just I think it's just a bad area. Like Ernie said, there's a huge demand for it. There's a lot of people trying to get into it, but I don't know what these companies are doing, and it's going to make way. I mean, of course, there's a license issues and stuff, but it's going to make way for these third parties or these bootleg companies to, just like with the Transformers, right?
KOs.
It's going to make,
or not necessarily KOs, but KOs and the people that are just making third party Transformers.
They're knockoffs in the sense of they're not legit, but they're better than what Hasbro can come up with. Trust me. Yeah,
exactly.
KO.
Yep.
Way cheaper.
And you got it in your hand.
And fix the problem with the original. And then talking a third party, which or a fourth party.
Yeah.
Of making the design so much better their own, because
it's great.
Look at that.
Don't like the one that came
that blaster
out.
looks incredible. Yeah.
And then he's not that thick or anything. He's like perfect size. And then from there you have the ones that now also
Astro Train. Ooh.
Do the
solid, dude.
The third parties themselves. So you move on from your Hasbro and Takara's, and you get a company that's become big like Fans Toys, and now somebody else is KOing the Fans Toy stuff.
Right.
Because why does
what
yours
choice
have to
are
be
they giving people? So that's
$350 to $100 and some dollars. So if we had that in Star Wars, which I wish wasn't everybody was so scared about. I understand, right? Because they're going to be hit. But with that being said, I feel that there should be a chance with a licensing, not change, but expand it.
There should be
give a chance for these other companies to hit stuff.
Yeah. Which did you guys see the report this week that Mattel and Hasbro are actually joining forces with some of their licensed properties?
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
What that means, I don't know. I didn't actually click the story and read it.
It's slow for now. And so what that means is there is going to be a Barbie monopoly.
Oh, Barbie.
There is going to be Transformers Hot Wheels.
Okay.
Gotcha. You know how they do like movie properties on the Hot Wheels?
Yeah.
They've been doing that with Star Wars already, with Star Wars Hot Wheels and stuff.
Correct.
Like Nerf, but that's going to be like a He-Man Nerf or something.
With that being said, I know it sounds like a slow start, but it's still exciting, because what if this is the start of that? I mean, imagine getting Mattel, who does WWE Ultimate figures that are like $35, that come with tons of accessories, great sculpts, and they hit a Star Wars line because of this marriage type thing, you know.
They'd probably make it a completely different size, like the Super 7
it
does.
would be, but
like the hyper
I'm,
real, you know.
but
like
I'm
the
saying
hyper-real.
though, as far as here's a new chance to get something out there.
Yeah. Well,
that
you know, Diamond
could be
Select
better,
does
you
it,
know?
right? Diamond Select has a Marvel license. And then of course Hasbro has the Marvel license.
Mhm.
I think Diamond Select did do some Star Wars bust statues and stuff. I mean, so it's they're there. But yeah, it'd be a complete different scale.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so two things here. I see. I absolutely, Felipe. How are you liking the Super 7 Joes? I love them. I bought the Cobra Commander thinking I said just want that one, and then as soon as I got them, I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna do one a month until I know the first series is the only one that's out, so I'm just gonna do one a month, and I absolutely love them. I actually consider dropping the classified. Yeah, I consider dropping the classified just for a fleeting moment, but
my
Galaxy
Super
ships,
7 ones are still, yeah,
the Galaxy ships. I can't tell you, Rick Jones, how much I'm in on these ships, dude. I am like, I just pre-ordered the N1 bomber or the N1 starfighter. I do have most of the Series 4 that was available on Amazon on pre-order, and they're coming like in July, September. Wow. So it's not not too far away. I think I have I think of all of Series 1 and 2. A couple chase. I don't. The chase ones are. I don't really hunt, so I miss out.
Yeah, I do all the hunting for everybody.
Yeah. So if Scott's not finding the chases for me, then I'm not getting them. I mean,
they're not there. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. But what I did do is I bought the TIE fighters and the ATSTs were on sale for like $13 on Amazon, and they came with the mystery pack, right? For like a both, right? They were just clearing them out. So I bought a bunch of them. So I'll just repaint my own, like
nice.
If here's the catch. I open my toys. I like yes, the ones that have value, like a chase, like a 1 in 500. The chase ones. Do I really want to open it? You know what I mean? Like that. That's a hard. Even for someone that rips into things. So I'd rather take something for $13, repaint it like the chase, and put it on my shelf that way. That's a hard thing for me to do, like have a whole open collection, and knowing that one right there was a 1 in 500.
Ooh, Matt Logic saying, of course, we already talked about Barbie Monopoly, but Transformers branded Uno games. Now, Marco has been to my house several times where we've had massive Uno flip tournaments.
We sure do, man.
Between Julie and myself, Don and Darth Moocher here, we play these massive Uno flip tournaments where it gets nasty. And I would love to see a Transformers Uno where somehow, I mean, how does that? What kind of gameplay would that entail? You've got, is it a new version of Uno Flip where it's Autobots versus Decepticons? You got the nasty side.
Yeah, why not?
I'm in. Dude. Let's do this.
I'm all about that cross branding. I think I've always, competition is very, very important, especially in the action figure, because we're the winners on that. There's going to be a lot more lines out there and a lot more things that we have to pick and choose. But it also, like a lot of people bring up, Hasbro with the Black Series especially, every figure has two hands like this. Come on. And how are you posing every figure? And they both have these. We want different hand sculpts just for posability and stuff. They've got a perfect opportunity in front of them. They're revamping their packaging again, revamp the line to accommodate these things. You know what I mean? To justify that $24.99 price tag.
One of my thoughts behind the reason why we haven't been getting Build-A-Figures has been it must be a Lucasfilm thing, because they're doing it with other lines. They're doing, especially the Marvel brand. They're doing all the Build-A-Figure parts.
Well, Indiana Jones are doing it. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Indiana Jones broke that mold. It's a Lucasfilm property.
I don't know.
Maybe. I'm hoping that's what it leads to, where we can have a build of something.
Here's the thing, Scott.
Something oversized.
If they don't do it within the next year, they're not going to do it. You know what I mean? Like with this revamping, to me, I'm calling it a revamping. The Black Series. I'm talking the Black Series because I think the Vintage Collection they never changed their packaging and whatnot. And with this opportunity Hasbro has to be like, all right, we're going to take a step back. We're going to reintroduce the plastic packaging to make it more enticing for mitten box collectors and people, displays and stuff like that. Well, they should take this opportunity not as something positive and be like, all right, cool. So like this $24.99, you're going to get maybe not every figure, but you're going to get multiple hands, more accessories, a Build-A-Figure, something that's just going to enhance the line. If they want longevity in the line, this is the things that they have to change. They have to change it. That's what I'm saying. This is opportunity, because it's like, if you guys are going to take a step back, then do it properly.
They've lost me. They did. Yeah. They lost me. I did get rid of all of my, except for the ones I've got on display right here above me. All of my 6-inch are gone. I either sold them or they're in a box waiting to be donated because they're not worth a damn thing anyway on the secondary market, which is fine. I don't need to sell it anyway, but they're not getting me back. So no matter what they do, they've already lost me as a customer for Black Series. Now, what Santo 1414 says here, do you guys ever think about 3D printing an AT-AT or a chicken walker?
All the time.
Not for me, because with the 3 3/4 inch, I've got that. I'm printing environments. I want to print Din Djarin's house. I want to do something like that. But for the 6-inch Black Series,
I'll take an ATST.
Absolutely.
No problem. AT-AT would just be insanely massive. Huge. Yeah. ATST could work.
You want to.
I do. No, I think about it all the time. There's not a day goes by where I would love like a 20-foot TIE fighter on top of my house. I mean, there's no question, right? If that thing, if an ATST 112 scale existed, I would be ecstatic. But $1,200 for the figure, maybe $1,200. I don't. It's just an impossible. It's a feat that's 6-inch doesn't have that luxury. Like
I still stare at this 112 TIE fighter every day. I just go, damn,
dude, Ernie. I have one. I have one that's up in the furthest part of my room where like the only room. And I actually because someone gifted when we were on sale for like $20. Someone gifted me one, so I have it. I have one still in the package at my office. Like, I don't know. I wanted to make a damaged one, but I'm like, well, that thing is like, forget it.
It's so massive.
You should repaint it. You should repaint it to look Imperial.
Know what to do with
it. I was thinking about it, but again, it's this huge.
I got rid of mine years ago. So, I had one. I got rid of it.
So obviously the vehicles don't work in 112 just because, again, I think it's just room. Nobody has room for these things. So you're stuck with figures, and so that's
why we should be getting those figures with what the other markets are doing out there.
That's why
from a Build-A-Figure to more accessories to everything else. And so with that being said, with the vehicles, because that would be too large, it's what Scott said, environment. So then give us a cockpit scene for everybody who does the toy photography, or now set up in your DTOF. In your display or something. You don't need the whole thing, but a shot of a TIE fighter cockpit or something, or just that piece of the Falcon of them sitting in there would also sell very well at this moment, Ernie, because we know how large it is.
I will say this, Ernie, I am working on that. So I am working on that type of displays. Again, that they're forcing the secondary third market to do these things because Hasbro, and it'd be perfect. A marketing campaign to do a Build-A-Figure for an environmental piece or whatnot would be awesome.
Tyrone King here. I wish Mando's HasLab had sounds. Yeah, the Razor Crest should have had sounds. The Sky Striker should have lit up. Sounds. I mean, they're doing sounds for lights and sounds for the Hiss tank, but they're total missed opportunity.
I don't. Missed opportunity, but again, like they oversold those things. I don't know how less of a campaign it actually, you know what I mean? Like it passed with flying colors. The Hiss tank passed with flying color. I mean, it's it's something that would be awesome. It would have been an amazing.
Could have been a stretch goal.
Sure.
And I think they would have sold even more with a stretch goal like that.
Yeah,
I think.
No, what do you guys think of like a HasLab? If they give you a HasLab at the 30-day or 40-day window, right? And I said, okay, from this day, it's a $350 vehicle, and if the stretch goal, here's all our stretch goals, and you're getting all the perks. Would you guys still be excited or back knowing that after the stretch goal, the base vehicle will be available for, I don't know, maybe at that price or a lesser price, but you're not getting any like no electronics, no. It would just say like the his tank. You would just get the his tank with no extra accessories for like the $150 price tag. Would you be okay with that less exclusivity that we backed from HasLab, but we got all these perks, but like somebody can still buy it after? You know what I mean? Would that make sense?
I get you.
Yeah, would that make sense to us as collectors or Hasbro?
Personally, I'm not the guy who's going to say, no, I backed it, you guys can't have it. I'm like, why not?
Yeah, I agree. Me too.
Why the hell not?
Me too.
But at the same time, the point behind HasLab is there are items that are so big, there's not enough shelf space for them at a brick and mortar store. So it would have to be like maybe HasLab gets all of these extra perks, the electronics, the extra figures, the extra accessories, but Hasbro Pulse gets and sooner, but Hasbro Pulse gets the base model vehicle.
Right.
You know, I don't give a half a shit.
Yeah,
absolutely, go for it. Why not?
And at like a later date too. You wouldn't be getting it when everybody else. So the perks of backing a project is the extra attention to details, extra perks. I don't know. It's something.
I'd be fine with that because I got the Sky Striker and I got all the perks that came with the Sky Striker just to get it all out of the box and put the base model together and I'm happy with that. I don't need all these figures.
So you could have spent $100 less and got the Striker and be perfectly happy. That's what I was getting at.
I'd have been more happy with that. Yeah. But instead I've got a bunch of figures that I don't want that are flooding the market because nobody really wants them. I agree. I'm fine with that.
There's so many things we could sit back and because we're not dealing with manufacturing overseas. We're not dealing with environmentalist issues as far as like whatever big companies like Hasbro has to put in taxes or pay or whatever. So I am sympathetic on some of their business model, but what I'm not sympathetic is the communication behind decisions or communication behind things like if they, I know it's not a smart thing, but if they came out and said, look, we hear Ernie always talking about droids and aliens for Black Series. We hear it. It's on our whiteboard, but we're not focusing on it because we're focusing on which is probably true, on the shows and IPs that are coming out that keep things kind of new. I mean, yes, we're getting almost a year later, but it's almost like we take that as collectors saying like, you don't care about our collections, which whatever, you don't care that we aren't fleshing out A New Hope. You don't care that we're not fleshing out X-Men. You don't care about you just want, to repackage it because Wolverine sold so many units that we can sell another so many units, maybe 90% this time.
See, this Mandalorian comes with a spear.
Oh,
the other one came with a rifle. So I think though, like a HasLab where it would fill in all those gaps would be kind of cool. You know, if you wanted to back a HasLab of a 10-figure Cantina pack,
I think that would be perfect.
Black Series figures. I think that's a good idea
because
I
think they'll sell more and they'll make more money that way versus I pre-order that half the people will cancel. It will never make to this retail. It will never hit a Target store ever. We will never see it in live. So they end up making, I don't know, X amount that they could have just packaged. Because if you bought a HasLab backed Cantina set, like 3 of these figures would probably never sell in the real world, but you're grouping them up and you're getting money off it. So Backyard TARDIS. Wow, I got done with my sermon early and you guys are still going. I rarely get to catch you live. Well, thank you for catching us live. And we get on our little soapboxes a lot of times and we do go over our time.
We won't shut up.
We do, but I mean, it's Wednesday, man. We're here to talk all kinds of stuff, and of course, it turned into toy talk because the 3 guys that collect toys are here. The other 2 that don't really care are not here.
But I think something like that would be kind of cool, though.
I do too, man.
on
they have an
on a
opportunity,
figure.
dude. Like they got one, and I want to contact these people and say, like, I'm not the only one saying this. There's a lot of people that are saying, like, Hasbro, this is the time to take a step back and look at yourself, like look at the
Right
environment.
there, Gordon. Even when Hasbro does focus on the current shows, they give us peg warmers.
Yes,
You are
I mean,
absolutely right.
as excited. Okay, I will say this: as excited as another R5 figure, I mean, I think it's perfect. But I don't think if we do see it in the stores, is you're going to see mountains of them. You know what I mean? Who else is going to buy them besides one or two? Like, I bought one because I thought the extra accessories, and I like droids. I love the droids. I don't know if you guys are buying them. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. Like, it's not. I have the Cantina display up here. You guys can't see it, but it's the 3 figures that we have for the Cantina up there: Greedo, Pondo Baba, and Dr. Ezevan. That's it.
Yeah.
There's 50 characters in that thing, and my all the vintage.
The Cantina band. They did
the Cantina band. They did give us that set. They did give us 7 figures of the Cantina band. Yeah,
they gave us 7 versions of one figure and a bunch of different accessories.
It's actually exactly. Which, again, I bought 7 of them. So Ernie, when you're ready, if you still need that, let me know.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get it for you on
I need
Pulse.
to get
But
that.
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm waiting for this change in attitude, especially with the Lucasfilm products, and if they're listening, if their ears are to the ground, and the success of the Indiana Jones and the popularity, it might not be like they're selling out of the Indiana Jones, but people are raving about the figures itself and the build of artifact and just the possibilities of doing a lot. I think that's more exciting, and it's new. We'll see how the movie turns out and how if it does propel a new wave of Indiana Jones longevity. It'd be awesome.
I tell you what, man, that trailer gave me goosebumps and brought tears to my eyes. So I cannot wait to see that film. So I'm surprised they didn't do homeless beggar clone from Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
I mean, it's got to be coming.
Yet another clone. Yeah, but man, then they'd have to sculpt the long hair and the beard on top of it. So that's way too much work for Hasbro.
Yeah, they can't just stamp a sticker on him and call him Jesse.
Yeah, exactly. So Scott or okay, hang on a second. So anyway, Scott or Mooch, which one of you is going to lead the Yub Nub song at the Return of the Jedi screening next week in defiance of the special edition?
Oh, the only one that's going to be singing the new one is going to be Chris. We're all going to have,
right.
You know what? We have to do the,
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky Horror Picture. Thank you.
Yeah.
Version of Return of the Jedi where we throw popcorn at Jabba the Hutt. We scream out, no,
Ewoks don't blink.
We talk over Darth Vader's nose. Yeah, Ewoks
you
don't
just
blink.
yell "Shut up" at the screen.
Yeah, shut up,
shut up.
Yeah, and of course we're all gonna go break into Yub Nub at the end. I love it.
And
don't
all the
think
kids
we won't,
in the audience.
I'm talking.
And all the kids in the audience are going to be like, "What is with all these weird old men? What is going on right now?"
I don't think we'll see one kid unless anybody, one of us, brings our kid.
But that does remind me, though, we do have our special event happening on May 4th, which we've got the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi and our 5th May the 4th. It's our 5th May the 4th adventure at the Social in Apple Valley, California. We are teaming up for a night of trivia, entertainment, food, beverage, all to benefit the United Way. Man, this event is so much fun every year. We're writing trivia questions as we speak. I'm typing them right now. To get in, all you got to do is bring a new unwrapped toy or book valued at $10. Hey, what's up, Ernie? I see you down there.
I'm looking at the event.
Oh,
okay,
cool.
Me too.
New unwrapped toy or book valued at $10 or more, or a cash donation is accepted. That'd be great. 21 and over only. Costumes are encouraged. Food trucks are going to be there. Prizes, freebies, music. That's Thursday, May 4th, 2023 at 7 p.m. at the Social Beer and Wine Bar. There's the address. Scan the QR code. Follow us on the socials for more.
Nice. And with that, yes, we are winding down here. So again, guys, thank you everybody for coming and hanging out with us on a Wednesday. Thank you, Ernie, for sticking it with us because, again, you're
Yes,
a
sir.
monster
Yeah.
podcaster. It's awesome. I enjoy every episode you drop. So I'm looking forward to next week. Who's the
Thanks,
guest
man.
next
I
week?
appreciate
you gonna
it.
do something next week?
I have no clue yet, but
Okay.
yeah, I got to do something.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
It's a lot of fun, man. I listen to Ernie as I'm either playing or prepping for this show. I'll be sitting writing notes down or whatever, trying to look for something or playing a game, and I have you in my ears all the time. Then I'll tab out to comment and I tab back into what I'm doing, and then like. But yeah, thanks so much. And if you're in our area next week, of course, we have our trivia at the local social that I think on our Facebook we'll be posting all the details on there. Also, our Facebook Central. We will definitely be doing a show next week on the 3rd. Yeah, the 3rd.
Dude, it's a Star Wars week, man. We've got this Return of the Jedi on the 2nd. We've got our show on the 3rd. And we've got May 4th.
Yes,
it's going to be packed.
I think we're going to introduce some trivia on our show next week.
Awesome.
I think what we'll do, it'll be kind of fun if we do our normal rants about Star Wars, whatever news and rumors are hitting, and then we break it up with a couple questions here and there, let the pit get involved, and yeah, we'll have to work some details out. I think it's a lot of fun. Trivia is always great. And let us know your plans for May 4th, the day after too. So we'll be talking about that. See how the pit enjoys their May 4th or Star Wars Day. I know that Return of the Jedi is not playing it everywhere. I'm surprised it's playing here locally for us because I know Empire wasn't when it was the 40th. I know A New Hope wasn't. So yeah. But Cliff.
Cliff, that was the very first episode that I listened to of the Sarlacc Digest, actually, before I was a member of the group. I listened to that first trivia and I wiped the floor with all of them.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't playing. Chris wasn't there and I wasn't playing. I was
and
hosting.
Mike was just embarrassing.
Sorry, Mike got the nickname Fives for a reason.
From there.
Okay, we had 20 questions. His nickname was Fives. Let's just put it. I'll just put that out there.
Put it out there.
But anyway, yeah, Cliff, that was a little cringe, and we did a little bit better on the next one. And then, of course, when I get involved, I dominate it. So with that, I think we're out of here. Thank you so much. I'll let Ernie and Scott have I won't have Scott have the last words because I know he'll say something about that last comment. But Ernie, but thank you guys. I will see you again next week. And so take it away, and may the force be with you.
Yeah, thank you guys for sticking around with us a little bit extra tonight. The pit is definitely growing all the time. Remember to go share with your friends. The best thing that you can do to help us out if you do not become a Patreon member is just to go share on all your socials.
Appreciate
it's real
that
quick
so
and
much.
easy. I do it every week. You can copy my page, whatever it may be, but do it after too to get some people to come hop on and see what we're all about. Yeah, become part of the replay crew like everybody does on all the other shows and tap in and check us out. We would greatly appreciate that. That does help us. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up. And if you are just joining over here, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and hit all so you don't miss when we're on, because we got tons of content, not only our Wednesday night shows. You can catch us on all social media from TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Our Facebook is Sarlacc Digest Central with 24/7 Star Wars talk. And if you are in the Southern California, i.e. San Bernardino County area, make your plans to come check us out on May the 4th. This has been going on for years. We definitely love doing it. It keeps growing. It's a good time. We will have prizes and there will be drink specials.
And it's Ernie's anniversary.
Good crowd. Ooh. Yes, I will be there.
Ernie's and Evil Diva's anniversary.
Yeah, we will be there this year, and I can't wait to see everybody, meet new listeners, and hopefully bring on some new people. Because bring your friends, tell them to come hang out. It's definitely a good time, and all you have to do is bring that toy. And it doesn't have to be a Star Wars toy. Don't think that's all. Just a toy of all across anything. Just make sure you bring that $10 unwrapped toy. But
it can't be a Star Trek toy, or else Marco will throw you out.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah,
that is
you'll go next door to the hair salon for their May 4th.
I'll let you
that
back
guy.
in, but he'll kick you out. I'll let you back in.
Again, thank you to tonight's sponsor,
the kids
Tashi
that are
Station.
getting it don't appreciate it, but yeah.
Yes. Thank you again to tonight's sponsor, Tashi Station Emporium, for all your figure stand needs. More to set up your fig photography and make it look better, or just your displays in itself. Check out the page. He's got definitely new stuff going on of even becoming like member incentives and everything.
Yeah.
Go to Tashi Station Emporium and check that out for all of the info on what you need done, blast doors, everything. You want to check out those blast doors. Mooch was on a couple weeks ago. Just go through mine, the Fallen Effect Chronicles on YouTube, and you'll see it. Those are the Joe stands, which are amazing. I love those like that. And then, like I said, a little team up too. Go see D Blake make and put your GI Joe sign in front of that, or the Arashikage, or Cobra, whatever it may be. Thanks for everybody for joining us tonight. And check us out all week. Like I said, go check out all those past shows and everything. And you can find us everywhere on our own social medias. Like I said, go share it. Have a good time. But definitely think about making it out. I know we have listeners here from down the hill. Come on up.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Crystal better be there.
It's a
Her
lot
brother
of fun.
won. Crystal's brother won the big prize last year. So
awesome.
He won the Mando helmet, I believe. So
Was it last year or the year before? I think it was the year before.
He won the Mando. No, Crystal's brother Isaac. He won the Mando helmet last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Roe took the big trivia prize. Crystal's brother won the raffle. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Anywho.
Well, yeah, I'm so looking forward to it. It's our annual thing that we do. So, yeah. So with that, I think we're done. Scott,
is that it?
That's it.
That's
short episode this week. Short episode, hour 43.
That's it, man. Wow. All right, everybody, keep it nerdy. We'll see you next week.